Monday. Game day week. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Saturday, baby. 12 o'clock. Tennessee versus Syracuse. Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Going to be epic. Start of the new football season. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Sorry I still haven't got to sit down with and kind of get this podcast live and I'm still wanting to get some people to come and sit with me and talk and what have you, but man, it's been so busy. Me and the wife have been running crazy. My youngest daughter's back in college at UT this year, her last year, so we've been doing all kinds of stuff like that, visiting with some family. Got to do a little high school football this weekend. Was just awesome. Went up to Gatlinburg and watched Gatlinburg and Seymour play. Seymour gave it everything they had there in the beginning, and Gatlinburg kind of got their act together and ended up winning. I know, I think Northview took a loss. Sevier County, Cooper Newman, Parker Newman, all those boys just laid it on Farragut, which it makes us all happy, Going to be a good year for them. I think it's going to be a good year for Gatlinburg. I think Pigeon Forge took it on the chin with Cherokee. I don't know much about Cherokee, but it sounds like they had a pretty good team, and you got a new coach down there at Pigeon Forge. He's trying to get everything together, but they'll get there. But man, I wanted to get on here and say hello to everybody. The weather, man, this week's going to be perfect. Looks like we've got some highs in like 80s, 81, some lows that may touch 50. So enjoy this week, man. Get out, get your stuff done, get ready for Saturday, Friday night and Saturday, because we got a heck of a weekend coming up for some sports. I have to talk about something that's big in the news right now. It's kind of mind-boggling, I guess. There's so much divisiveness over this right now, but the whole Cracker Barrel incident. There's a lot of ways you can look at this, but I try to be as neutral and I try to see it from every side. I think. I mean, maybe sometimes I'm biased one way or the other, but there's a lot of people that Cracker Barrel's rebranded and changed the sign around, and and I think the initial shock from all that it is based off the signage. I think the deeper issue here is there are people that have been to some of the Cracker Barrels where they've changed the inside. Guys, I don't, me and my wife were talking about it yesterday. TGI Fridays changed their sign over the years. O'Charlie's, that's a good example. O'Charlie's, I grew up and the O'Charlie's sign was just the same forever and ever and ever. And then they ended up changing their sign, But what they didn't change a whole lot of was the interior of their store. Now, that doesn't mean a whole lot to a lot of people, especially when you're talking about TGI Fridays and O'Charlie's and some of those other places that rebrand and they do things like that. The issue with Cracker Barrel, ever since I was a child, and we actually got a Cracker Barrel, in the county here in Sevier County, and maybe I had stopped with my mom and dad at one, well before that, when we maybe went somewhere on vacation or something. But when you walk into a Cracker Barrel, you're walking into, I don't even know how to explain it. I don't know how to put it in words that would make everybody understand why I feel like there is such a backlash of this. When you walked into Cracker Barrel, you were walking into that old nostalgic, I don't know, maybe, I guess it's supposed to be like your grandma and grandpa's house and all that stuff, And let's just be honest, when you walked into Cracker Barrel, all the stuff they had, it was just like right on top of you. It was almost like a higher end flea market, or I don't even know how to, almost like a boutique. Cracker Barrel, if you think about it, they've been doing boutique stuff since well before the whole boutique thing was really, I guess, a big deal. And in saying that, you would always have the boutique stuff is very specialized. A lot of times it's a little more expensive, but you're paying for what hopefully is quality. And then, when you moved on in, after you got seated inside there, of course they had lattice work up, and they had all the old school country farm implements, pictures, old signage, and just pictures that made you feel like you were back still in the 50s, 60s, 70s, or at least threw you back to that time. Honest to God, I really think the biggest backlash from this is from where they're trying to change the interior. It's not necessarily the signage. I understand why people are upset, because you can read so much into the old man sitting there and everything. I get it. But to be honest with you, that's one of those things that can be forgotten. You realize, I'm going into Cracker Barrel. Wow, they've changed their sign. No big deal. And that's really not a big deal. It shouldn't be, but I get it. People's opinions, they vary. But when you walk inside and you see something totally different than what you were used to, that starts getting to where people are like, man, I just don't feel as comfortable as I used to in here anymore. And now listen, I've got friends that have worked at Cracker Barrel, and I've been in a few Cracker Barrels. It's not really my favorite place to go, but the issue is the pictures. If you look them up online, whether they're, and I hope they're not AI generated or what, I mean, we'll find out as this thing unfolds, but they're trying to turn the Cracker Barrel into like a museum. I don't really think they're trying to, I don't think they're trying to make it into something that they don't want you to enjoy, but it's sterile. The pictures and removing that stuff and putting stuff up on the wall like in a museum fashion, that's not what people want. That's not what us Southern people want. We are very proud of our heritage and proud of the things that made Cracker Barrel what it was. If maybe all not the Generation X people, but if all of the boomers, if they were all dead, let's just say all the boomers were dead, and maybe we were 30 or 40 years from now, and that's just me, I'm just putting out thoughts here. If they were all gone, I might see where you would want to put that into like a museum type setting, like come visit and eat with us and see what used to be like the old time stuff. We've got all this stuff put up on the walls, and we're putting it in a manner where it's like a museum, like you just go through and relive your heritage. But that's just not the case. I mean, the old folks took us to Cracker Barrel because they realized that Cracker Barrel was as close as you were going to get to being able to live that life, or at least experience, that feeling, I guess you would say, because not a lot of people get that when you come from out west or up north. And I'm not knocking the west or up north, but I'm just saying it's just a thing that people expect. And in my humble opinion, I honestly think that's where the backlash is coming from. Signage has been changed on things for years and years and years, and will continue to be. That's just that is change. You're going to get that. You want to attract people with your marketing and advertising, but when when you change the interior of a store and you get rid of the smells and of all that, I don't know, autumn or cinnamon or whatever you want to say. You know, when you went into a Cracker Barrel, it just had this aura about it that made you feel like you were just in a country farmhouse. Now, in saying that and doing what they did, or what they're trying to do, it's just not a smart move to reorganize or restage something that is such an iconic brand. Got to pull over here to the side of the road. It's just not a good idea to do that, and it's really because of the older heads and your mamas and your papas and the people that, I don't know, for lack of better words, the people that built your life. You know, for us as Southerners, Tennessee, Georgia, Kentucky, all these places, we look to those people. Those are the people who made us who we are. And while they were doing that, we equate how we were raised with the things in Cracker Barrel or certain general stores or something like that. I guess that's more of I get what I should say. Cracker Barrel had that general store feeling. And so for them to want to change that around, I think that's the backlash. I really do, because like I said, signage, you know, it's going to change. Taco Bell, all these people changed their signs, and it didn't really affect anybody. We would just drive up and be like, wow, Taco Bell's, this is crazy, this is very modernistic or whatever. But we got over it because the same stuff was still inside. It didn't invoke a response of, this is just not what I want to be a part of. And I think that's it. Guys, I truly think that's it. People want to go in to where they feel comfortable. There's just some things that you shouldn't really mess with, I guess. And they've been doing fine. Every company goes up and down. So I'm sure there's going to be people that they can get on and look at everything and go, oh, but their market share was this good, now it went to this, and all the stats and all the, they say the employees wanted this. And listen, you can't say your employees want to, I don't know. You can get ideas from the employees, but that needs to be their work environment, okay? Your customer demands what it is you sell, like the goods. You need to make things better for your employees as much as you can. I 100% agree with that. Take care of your employees, they'll take care of the people. Well, in this case, you know, they're trying to say that this change was kind of helped by the employees. They asked them but that's just not true, guys. I mean, I would never work at, I just can't imagine working at a place and we're doing good, ups and downs, whatever, and then all of a sudden them coming and saying, what do you guys think we should do to make this better? And all of us getting together and saying, well, I would get rid of all this and let's just put all this new stuff in here. And I don't know, it's just it's a divisive thing, and I understand. And listen, you know, I'm going to step on a toe or two here when I say this, but it's the truth. This lady that they've got in as a CEO is, you know, her background and whatever it is she politically wise thinks and what have you. We live in an age where people can check you out. You can be, I mean, it's not, you know, it's not hard to find out who you are and what you stand for and what you're trying to push or what your agenda is. It's just not hard. So it really, between the complete upside down, it's like they took Cracker Barrel and shook it upside down, and then just come back and we're like, well, we're just going to put everything back, but we're going to do it in a regimented manner. And we're going to put stuff up on the wall like it's a museum, and we're going to clean it up. We're going to get rid of the lattice work. Maybe that should have been got rid of, but don't put things up like it's a museum. We are still the South. The people still love Cracker Barrel. They still want to go in, and they want that. There was no need to change the inside. I guess that's my point. Change the sign. People would have been mad, whatever. But don't change the inside. Don't change. If it's not broke, don't fix it. But that's my take on the Cracker Barrel thing. Like I said, I'm 60-40 on it. Take it or leave it. I'm not a huge Cracker Barrel fan. My sister and brother-in-law and my wife, they like to go, and I'll go with them. But it's just never really, I don't know. It's just never really been my thing. But when I go, I enjoy it. I always come out and I say, man, that was good food. And then we'll undoubtedly buy something silly like a pecan nut roll or a wooden toy gun, pop gun, but I think the fear for people mainly is the inside, the interior, the ambiance that Cracker Barrel gave us and the comfort. That's the thing. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be took out of your comfort zone, but that's not the place to do that. That's just not the place to do that. It's just backfiring, and it's not going to get any better. I'm afraid there's going to be some people lose their jobs over this, and rightfully so. I hate to say that, but rightfully so. Do things in a manner. Now, if you were going into Chapter 11 bankruptcy and it was like they come in and you're going to throw a bunch of money at something and see if you can get some traction and come, back up, Hardee's, they were in a bad way. And then they come out and they bucked the system and said, eat like you want to, eat like you mean it. And then they started putting these fat burgers online. And it was just like, basically, we're not telling you to cut carbs. We're not telling you to do this. We're telling you to eat like a man, eat like you want to. Then they had these girls on these commercials, and, the bottom line is sex sales. And for better or for worse, it worked for Hardee's. That little thing, it worked for them. It helped keep them afloat and or get them a little bit of traction back, because breakfast just wasn't carrying them anymore, because it carried them. It did carry them, but their lunch and dinner had stopped really being a big deal, so they had to do whatever. And I get that. I totally get that. But there's ways of doing things. And like I said, it depends on where you're at in your company and where the duress is and what you feel like you need to do. But Cracker Barrel was not, there's not been anything that I know of where it was like, oh, Cracker Barrel's getting ready to shut their doors. They're off bad. There's been no talk of that. So I guess why would you fix something that's not broke? And listen, the opinion of what is broke and what is not, that's all opinion, and they're like a-holes. We've all got them. Some just grew bigger. I don't know. But that's where I feel like Cracker Barrel has made their mistake. It's not necessarily the sign. Obviously, that's the easiest thing to put up, on the internet and bash and go on. It's not, I don't know that it's all the sign. I think it's more the interior and what's going to change and what you walk into, that comfort. That's when you walk into your mom and dad's house, you expect a certain level of comfort. You walk into your grandmother and grandfather's house, you expect a certain level of comfort. The only time that comfort changes drastically like this is if mom and dad or grandpa and grandma bought a new house. Then you can compartmentalize that feeling and that idea and that thought process, and you can put it somewhere and keep it in your own little box and go, wow, I remember that. So that's easy to do. But if you didn't know, that mom and dad or grandma and grandpa had bought a new house, and then you show up there and there's somebody new living in the house, and you call and say, where did you go? And they say, well, we're just down the road. We bought a new house. You didn't get that last little bit of comfort, little bit of feeling to put in your mind. And so you would be in total shock. You would be upset. You'd be mad. You'd be like, why didn't you tell me? And I guess that's my point. Like here, not all of them have changed yet. I'm not seeing any of the new signage around here, but they say it's coming. I mean, unless this backlash stops it. But that's kind of where I go with this. I mean, it's a real comfort level, and if anything in 2025, you can be happy about the politics that are going right now, or you can be upset about them. The weather, the atrocities. I mean, everything that we have going on in our lives, and it's crazy. It's the craziest time to be alive right now because of everything and how the shift in the cultures and everything. But if you don't have something you can go to give you some inner peace, and that might be Cracker Barrel, that might be your local mom and pops, it might be your church, it might be home. If you don't have that to go to, you will spiral into just somewhere you just don't want to be. And I know that's getting very emotional, but man, people today rely on, whether it be social media or their parents or their friends or just somewhere to decompress. And honestly, Cracker Barrel's made a mistake. They made a mistake, and at this point, all we can do now is, and you can sit and argue and go back and forth about it all you want, but all you can do now is watch it unfold. I mean, that's just the truth. It's set in motion, so we'll see. I mean, Lord God, there's no reason for people to get mad at each other and hate each other over it, but it's going to happen. People have their opinions, and it is what it is. Some people aren't happy unless they're pissed off. So, but anyway, I just wanted to get on here and say hello to everybody and talk a little bit about that. It's been such a crazy thing, man. I never dreamed that Cracker Barrel would be at the forefront of our news cycle, and I would have hoped it wouldn't have been for something like this. I'd have hoped it'd been for something better, but this is just not a good thing. And I don't want anybody to think that I have any kind of weighing in on how you should feel about it. But in my personal opinion, Cracker Barrel's made a mistake, and I mean, it's just not good. It's not good. The press has been so negative that it's going to be hard to recuperate from that. Of course, I could be wrong. They may come out on top. We'll see. That's all there is to it. We'll see. I am so fired up about the weather changing and everything that's going on. School's back in and colleges back in. Our county, man, we've had so much go on here. We had the Jeep invasion this last weekend, and God love those people's heart. They just got rained on and rained on and rained on. And I'm sure there are people in their graves from 20 and 30 years ago with the rod run that used to come up here. They're in their graves laughing at them, going, yeah, that's what happened to us every time we showed up in Pigeon Forge. Get our cars shined up and cleaned, and then the rain, bang. Of course, with the Jeeps, unfortunately for them, they had all their tops down. And then ended up getting flooded out, which is not funny, but it's just, good Lord, could the rain have done any more crazy things? And then of course we had a couple people get hit on the parkway, so be in thoughts and prayers for those families of that boy and girl. I don't have an update on that, but tragic, just terrible, just not paying attention. They weren't in the crosswalk. People were trying to let them get across, and I don't know, the man and the girl just kept going and did not look up. And then before you know it, here's a Jeep just out of nowhere, just boom. So pray for those people. Pray for that person driving the Jeep. They got to live with that. I don't think either one of them died, but man, it was bad. And no matter what, they'll have to live with that. They'll have to live with that. What if I would have hit my brakes? What if? There's just so many what ifs out there. When you have an accident like that and in a setting like that, it's just tragic. So like I said, be in prayer for those people and everything. But on to better things, guys. We're this close to fall, and I feel like we're going to have a great fall. It's going to be awesome. The weather today is just like 81, 82 degrees. It's going to be great. This week, I think Friday, we've got Gatlinburg plays at Cocke County. No, I'm sorry, that's Thursday night. Gatlinburg will play at Cocke County. Sevier County will play Friday. They're going to stick with the Friday schedule, and I think they play Jefferson County. So we'll see how that all turns out. I'm not sure who Seymour and Pigeon Forge have, or Northview. But I think those will all be on Thursday. I think Sevier County maybe is the only one on Friday that stayed with the Friday schedule. And this is coming up on Labor Day weekend, and that's why they did that. So just remember, Thursday night's probably going to be most of your high school football games. And remember, guys, if you want to watch these games, I don't know if you know this, you probably do by now. Most of the time, you can find your high school football game on YouTube. Go onto your YouTube app and just type in Sevier County High School, or Gatlinburg Pittman High School, or Northview, or Seymour, Pigeon Forge High School, and it'll give you their homepage a lot of times. And most of the time, on your homepage of Pigeon Forge or Sevierville or Gatlinburg, you'll see right next to it, there'll be football. And if it's on that day, it'll say starting in this many minutes or whatever. A lot of times you can find it, guys. So if you can't make it out and you want to check it out, put it on the background. It's just, it's fantastic. Like I said, technology today, it is great. And, just check it out. It's good stuff. And I'm sure they like to see how many people are streaming and things like that. Sevier County's got a new app that you can go on. I saw that the other day, and they were posting this new app on Facebook, and I'm sure all the schools are probably working on apps for their sports and things of that sort. So trying to get us all connected and back together when it comes to high school, the sports and stuff. So check that out. Like I said, man, Tennessee, noon, going to be awesome. The only problem is I think Texas and Ohio State are playing at the exact same time, which, I could care less who wins that game. I hope Texas beats them and shuts everybody from Ohio State up, but we'll see. You just never know. Never know what the NIL has got. Last year Ohio State had a $22 million roster when they played us, and I was unaware of that at the time because I hadn't been keeping up with it. And I asked my son, I said, so how's this game going to be? He said, well, you're getting ready to find out what $22 million will get you, which didn't do my heart any good, and he was correct. Ohio State put a whooping on us, but once again, money talks and the BS walks, and so there you go. I'm out working today. Like I said, I wanted to just touch base with you guys. I've been hoping that maybe Friday or Saturday I could get on and do something live from the bunker, but it just didn't work out that way. We were so busy. We had some friends come into town from Florida that we hadn't seen in forever, and we only got to spend a couple hours for them. And then Saturday, Sunday, we've just been busy. It's just, the work has been there. We're so blessed. My wife's blessed with real estate and stuff. She's had a little uptick, and then real estate's one of those things where it's up and down most of the time. She had a nice little uptick. Now it's kind of planed off, but she's been having people just blow her up over the Bravenly stuff, man, and all kinds of people are starting to get that into their regimen and starting to feel better, and they're really are liking the product. So that's good. I'm tickled. I've got my Rush Extreme here. I'll sip on that the rest of the day. Excuse me. But, you know, so much for the good. So much for good going on right now. Find it, embrace it. You know, find what makes you happy. Stop dwelling on everything that you see on the internet. Stop dwelling on the news. Matter of fact, do me a favor and turn the daggone news off. Turn it off. Don't go Fox News, MSNBC, any of it. Just turn it off. You'll see it. If you're that interested in it, where you've been following whatever you follow politically, whatever, it'll come up on Facebook. Turn that TV off of news. Put it on a sports game. Put it on, there was a freaking frisbee tournament on the other day. And, you know, put it on something like that. Put it on, I don't know, put it on something good. Play music through your TV or something, but don't be sitting around watching the news. It's just a perpetual hole of negativity. There's just it's very, very, very rare that you see anything good. And, you know, they've got their hooks in us. Well, they don't me, because I don't watch any of them anymore. I'll see things that come up, and it's political opinion or whatever, and they just drive that stuff to us. You know, the more stuff that you look at, and think about this. If you don't know by now, this phone that I'm recording on, it's hearing you. It knows. And it's generating the things that you want to see. That's just the way Google, that's the way Facebook, Twitter, all of that stuff works, guys. When you're scrolling on Facebook or Instagram or anything, when you stop, you need to think about this. When you stop and look at an article, the articles that you stop on and stay on, let's say you stay on a cat video for 5 seconds, but then you stay on a news outlet or I don't know, if you like to watch four-wheelers, and you stay on it for 10 or 15 seconds, it classifies those things of what is most important to you. What's most important to you? Where are you stopping? What is making you stop and focus in on that? That's why your phone feeds you what it feeds you. It is by design to give you what you most want. And what you most want on a phone, and probably a computer, I'm sure they got this information from computers before our phones got to be as good as they are. It's where you stop. What do you stay on long? The short things, it sees that you stop. But when you're staying on something for 10, 15, 20, 30 seconds, or even clicking on that article, from that point on, you will get more of that substance. Period. There's no way around it. I mean, you think there may be, people be like, oh, you can do this, you can do that. Let me tell you something. You all know this is nothing new. And if you don't know this, you need to know this. When you sit around and you talk at a table with your friends, you got your phone just laying there. I can be talking with my sister. We were talking about an issue the other night, just talking and laughing. Looked over, and my wife had picked her phone up, and she goes, you all were talking about that, and the very first thing when I opened my phone, that's what it was. She wasn't talking about that with us, but her phone was sitting there, and we had probably been scrolling and found it, or I'd showed my sister maybe a picture or a video or something. Well, her phone was over there, and she wasn't even on it. First thing she did when she picked it up. So now all three of us have the same thing going. So you have the same conversation going. Please remember those type of things, guys, when you're on your phone. You know, do your best to try to, I have started Xing out so many things here lately that have been popping up on my phone, on Facebook and Instagram, and you know, I'm more of an Instagram guy. I like Facebook, but I just, if I'm just sitting and looking at stuff, Instagram for some reason, and then I've been on TikTok some, but more TikTok because I like watching people sell stuff. That just interests the crap out of me. But anyway, just like I said, just know that when you're on your phone, what you stop on, it just starts logging those things. And so the more you stop on it, and if that's what you want, stay on them, and it'll give you more. But if you start feeling negative, if you start feeling pissed off, if you start feeling all these things, and it's feeding you, wake up for a second and go, wait a minute, X, or snooze it, or delete it, whatever. It'll ask you, why? Why did you get out of this? Not interested, or doesn't apply, or too political, or whatever, take care of your mental health. Take care of your mental health when it comes to these phones and all the stuff it's feeding you. Try to feed yourself some good. I wear a wristband. I don't have it on normally when I'm mowing and stuff because it'll get so dirty, and it's got a little magnet in it, and I can scan it, and it'll give me a Bible verse each day. Do I do it every day like I should? No, but it's there. I just go boop, and it brings it right up, and I X out of it and go on. Little things. Put it on your phone. Put daily quotes. If you're not very religious or whatever, put something on your phone that makes you feel good. I'm telling you, we're all centralized to our phones, and it's for better or for worse. It's shaping you as a person, and there's not many people. I know a few people that when they don't, it aggravates me to death that when I call them or text them, they don't answer. But you know what? Every time I'm around them, they don't have their phone in their face all the time. They don't gripe and complain and go on all the time. They just know better. Wish we could all be that way. That's not reality. We want to be in the know. Heck, I wouldn't be on here doing this with you if I didn't want to be part of your life and maybe give you guys some laughter or insight or just rubbish. I love talking pure rubbish. It's just fun to me. I love to make fun. I love to aggravate. I absolutely live to put sarcasm onto every single situation. Family, health, whatever it is, I love it. I live to be sarcastic about everything, and maybe that's a twisted thing, but me and my sister both, growing up, we just didn't have the greatest, like I said before, I don't want to get into that. Maybe one day we will. Me and her, maybe we'll talk and give you all some stuff that we grew up in and why we are the way we are. But I just want people to laugh and enjoy and have a good time, and like I said, I've been trying to work a little bit here and there on getting a little format together on what I want to do, but I want you guys to know that I'm always concerned about everybody's mental well-being. You get that way, I guess, after you turn 50 and you see friends that you went to school with, family members. Some people died in car wrecks. Some people died because of drugs. Some people it was self-inflicted suicide and things like that. And man, whatever it takes to get you away from that, that's what I want for you. That's all I want for you. So I'm going to jump off here. I got to go over here to my sister's house and mow her yard because she's a deadbeat. I'm kidding. She asked me to mow it last week, and once again, my mower's still in the shop, so they should be getting done with it this week. But you guys have a great day. Like I said, I hope you had a great weekend. We're getting ready to have a great weekend. It's going to be good. Saturday, the weather looks good. Friday, the weather looks good. There's chances of rain, but I'll take it. Man, this weather is so good. So great to be in Tennessee. Great to be a Tennessee volunteer. It's great to live in the greatest country in the world, hands down. There'll never be another country like ours. There'll never be a better place to live than ours. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what your politics are. There'll never be a better place to live. We're the freest people in this world. We're always going to be the freest people in this world, no matter who's in power. You guys have a wonderful week. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. We'll see you soon.